Should people who have committed acts of harm similarly that Sherry Pie did be provided a platform in media for the masses to consume?
Okay, so here's my thing. We've talked about this before. Not about this specifically, but about people who do harm and have caused harm, right? That does not mean that more harm should be enacted against them.
Hey everybody, welcome to Drag from the Left, your weekly digital series where we review RuPaul's Drag Race and relevant social issues from a radical leftist perspective. This is a pro-black, pro-abortion, pro-sex work, abolitionist platform. Yeah, we are with the shits and we'd like you all to come along on the ride with us. I am your hostess with the mostest, the very, oh God, I'm stumbling over my words, the very Reverend Dr. Juanita Bind'Em. Thanks to this little THC pen right here, I'm having a little moment.
Lord have mercy. You got some water on you? Take a sip. And it's Avery here. Thank you guys for staying with us or coming back or no.
We are now tuned in to the exclusive after show Call In, Call Out. On Call In, Call Out, we further delineate or talk about, expound upon an idea from RuPaul's Drag Race that kind of talks about things from more of a social political mindset. And thank you for being here with us. We have 3 messages, so let's just start on off with playing our messages.
But I find Michelle really, I like Michelle, but I do find her a bit annoying. Like, she just, who cares whether the girl says ogle, oogle, whatever? It's like an accent thing. It's like if I was on that show, I'd probably be saying half the words wrong. Like, I'm sure, I just don't think it matters. Like, who cares if it's like, it's a within the yellow family. She just be doing the most sometimes, and it just gets on my nerves. Like, even with regards to talking about people's, you need to be padding like this, you need to be shaving like, it's like, stay in your lane. Maybe they don't want an hourglass figure. Maybe they're happy that they're a bit broad on the top. But that being said, like, I don't hate Michelle.
Thank you. Yeah, Michelle's a contentious character.
But Ru is never doing the same thing 2 series in a row, because then you look at All Stars 4 and Monet destroyed what's the girl? Trinity the Block Taylor in the last lip sync, yet somehow it was a double, both of them win. But she absolutely destroyed her. There's no denying she killed her in that lip sync with that crunchy, disgraceful cartwheel that Trinity done, and yet it was a double win. I was very confused. Double crowning.
Yeah, and that has become my conversation about the sanctity of the lip sync, and I think we need a baseline that that more consistently aligned with the mass population's agreement on like who won the lip sync. And usually we can, even if we like a queen more than we like a other, we can sit here and look at each other and be like, well, so and so won the lip sync. It was more entertaining, you know. I 100% agree that in All Stars 4, that Monet exchange, I don't care how many challenges Trinity won, Monet in that final lip sync wiped the stage with Trinity. Yes. Trinity literally.
And Trinity didn't win that much more challenges than Monet.
Like, I think it was one more. I think she won.
She
had
a better record, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't significantly better.
And some of those wins I wouldn't have given to her. Like if we're going to play like rewind for a minute, she should not have won Snatch Game. Naomi should have won Snatch Game. Wendy Williams was fucking like sickening. But
Naomi should have won a lot more challenges than she did, actually.
So, and I'm not a big Naomi fan, and I just thought that some of those challenges I thought should have either went to Monet, Monique, or Naomi, for me. And she tried to do that little tumble roll move that she always do and fell out of it. Like she literally fell on her face.
It was so bad. Yeah.
It was like Monique Hart
that's a lip sync
split.
And Monique keep doing them splits
and cartwheels. You know, like
that was a lip sync where there was a clear winner and a clear loser.
When Monet did Kitty Cat wig to fucking Kitty Cat wig, she won the entire season and all of the ones afterwards. Period.
Monet, from the music, the from the minute the music started to the music ended, Monet was eating.
She
Yeah,
wanted to win.
like
Monet wanted to win.
she had all the character, she had all the elements of a great lip sync performance, and she executed it flawlessly. Right? There's no reason why she should not have been the sole winner of All Stars 4.
Comedy. We got comedy. We got a spot on lip sync with her lips, except for the moment where she always does that little moment where she kind of sticks her tongue out and goes, ah, which is part of her signature. She wore a signature Monet look. Monet loves an understated little sexy little bodysuit. She, you know what I'm saying? Rue has ragged on her for wearing those little tiny wigs. She like, look, it's the last time you go see me here, so I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do anyway. And I'm not just gonna do it once, bitch. I'm gonna do it twice. How about that? And she said she really wanted to do more than one, but she realized that she only had 2 in her bag, and that the other one she had one. I think she had one where there was another color or something. It just would have been weird to go from like, you know. So she did the one over the one, and it was good enough. She did her fake out split move, which is always good because she always does it at the right time of the music. You know what I'm saying? And her splits are impressive because that's a thick bitch, okay? And she jumps.
Yes, and she jumps high too. Yeah. She jumps. She gets air off of that floor.
She jumps. That bitch.
And yeah. That is not easy. Okay. That is not easy, especially for us bigger girls. Yeah.
Okay. And slams onto the floor. Okay. I aspire to have a tornado split jump like that. Okay.
Yes, and it is always perfect timing. Even when she did the gag with the wig, she did at the perfect time of the song. Right.
Yeah.
Monet is a good lip syncer. Like she should have been the sole winner of that. Like you said.
Well, technically, so and Monet talks about this. So there is a Reddit verified screen grab which has been since removed from the internet due to like some copyright issues or whatever. VH1 posted, "Congratulations, Monet, on winning All Stars 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race." It went up and it came down less than a minute later.
Yeah. I remember it was all over the Twitter.
Yeah, it went up.
Not the video itself, but people talking about it being deleted.
Yeah, it went up and then it came down, and then the double win came up. And we all know that was a piece that was to appease the fan base, you know, to appease the. If Monet had singularly won, you know, that would have fit another one into the consecutive Black winners or people of color winners of Drag Race. Now, even outside of the American franchise, with Envy Peru and Priyanka winning their seasons.
Right.
So,
and that's why I'm worried about Simone, because I don't want her to fall victim.
It's gonna be too many Black girls in a row.
It's gonna be too many Black girls, and the whites are gonna be out there in tiki tortures. They're gonna be pissed.
Well, you saw it every time a Black girl win, how the internet, like, and the girls talk about it. Like, Monet talks about how often they call her a nigger monkey, like, all the time. And I just say things as it is. I'm gonna just say what it is. Like, that's what they call her on the internet, you know? And it's just like, I literally swept the competition. I'm one of the most successful winners of RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, you actually see me on TV, in commercials, in TV shows. She got the Pepsi campaign by herself before they did all the drag queens. Remember, she got the Pepsi campaign with Cardi B in that fucking during the Super Bowl by herself. She had the Colgate commercial campaign. She got the true, like, she stayed booking.
She was in Lovecraft.
She was in Lovecraft. She has a talk show hosted by Yahoo, like on Build. You know, like.
She's working on Netflix. Like, she's a girl.
Yeah, you know, and her big sis, her friend is Bob the Drag Queen, who to me is arguably the greatest winner to ever be on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, I don't think that's arguable. That's just fact.
Yeah, Bob is the epitome of it all for me. You know, it's so good, and I would be very content with Ru saying that they go visit every other week and Bob being on the show. I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
But it's time for Call Out, which today the episode just ends up being a little bit of gossip.
We're gonna play this last comment, or no?
Oh, there's one more. Here we go.
Well, I kind of think they need Nicole Byer back for sure. I think Candy should have won.
Thank you for agreeing with me. But I mean,
I agree with the first part of what you said, but not the last.
What was the first part?
That Nicole Byer should be back, which I think she will be.
Nicole Byer will be back. T.S. Madison will also be back. So y'all, should I do a spoiler? Should I do a little spoiler? It's just the next week's judges.
Is there an episode next week?
Okay, so next
all I saw was the pandemic documentary episode.
So that's next week's episode. Next week's episode of Drag Race will be the documentary. There will be no challenge, no elimination, nothing like that next week.
Right, so next episode's judges, not next.
So next episode, which will actually be considered it'll be episode 10, but technically, with how we would view it, it would be like 9 for a competitive episode of Drag Race. But I think we're getting Snatch Game next. I would assume that it's time.
Snatch Game is next.
I would assume it's time for Snatch Game. And I think T.S. Madison is going to be back as a guest judge. And I love Miss Maddie. And that's my boo. And I will leave it at that for spoilers for next week.
Let's get into your call in and call out.
Okay. What's your call and call out this week?
I don't have one.
Oh my God. I don't really have a big call and call out this week because I'm saving. We're saving a larger conversation about something that's coming up that we're going to work on. Mm-hmm. And we kind of talked about like the reference thing throughout the episode. Mm-hmm. I would like to do a small call in. And this is just a Simone thing for coming out yet another week in a very in a look that is like quintessential Black culture. The attention to details and doing those things really makes me, again, very happy. And for people that don't know those things, like it's just nice to kind of like introduce those and just have them being presented on the runway as it's regular, as anything else, which I really like. And my other comment was, did you catch? So we talked last week about Elliott and their continued bouts with overt racism. Yeah. And we kind of talked about them talking about the taxi outfit, which I thank you for the tea because I did not know. And when I get a minute, I don't want to type on the computer because y'all hear all the keys typing and stuff. But I'm gonna look that up. I want to see what's really going on with that.
Yeah, it should, unless you didn't delete it. It was up there this morning.
But they can tweet that, but it's still an apology. Oh, okay. But
her apology was last week. You read it.
I did. Was that an apology or was that? As someone told me that I do, that wasn't an apology. That's doubling down. They were doubling down and being defensive.
Legit. They got mad at us.
Okay, it got mad at us. Did you catch? So in Elliott's confessional, they were just talking about because like Elliott's been having had a stronger week a better week this week. They didn't horribly suck, which they've been generally doing. They were like, I'm realizing that I can kind of relax and just kind of be myself and just not do all of that and just really ambiguous and Tina and all of them talk about it on the show in front of the cameras with a lot of ambiguity where why couldn't Elliott just say I realize I've been saying a lot of stuff. I've been yes girl and yes God and just being like, that's not cool. I didn't just be like, you can be, even if it's a lie, bitch. I didn't realize that doing that was racist, was messed up to my girls. I love everybody here. And from now on, this is the reintroduced herself to us in her confessional and just would have been right. This is me. I'm Elliott with 2 T's and said it. I am Elliott with 2 T's, the normal way they fucking talk. If you notice during the episode this week that they've been doing a lot of talking regular in this week's episode, a lot of talking regular, because after they was in the bottom 2 last week and got sent home, I think they knew when they walked back in that workroom that all the bitches was gonna be like, you sent Lala Ree home and you be out here acting stupid and we done with you.
Right.
And they, they've been opening up and having conversations and Candy probably told them, well, girl, I'm cool, but you be starting our relationship, and doing what you sound to say and do what you do. But you understand
Candy impersonation again. Do your Candy impersonation.
But you understood what I said. I'm not making fun of her accent. We all know that's how.
No. We talked about that already.
Okay,
that is.
Candy,
I don't even like
how
Candy, but that is not funny. Yeah.
So so Candy did their thing. It was just like it is what it is. Okay, but so I just like them to call a thing, and it have some sanctity. I also. Did you see? Now, I don't want to get into. We only go talk about this really briefly because I think we could spend like a whole episode talking about like consent. Know how we get to talking. But I think we can do a whole episode coming up soon about like consent, and like rape culture on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Ooh, hold on, where's my pen at?
There's a lot of strong examples that. I think we could do a special call in, call out. About that, and we can get. I will get in full drag, baby, and we will do video. We'll do the whole thing.
Yeah, dressed.
And from here up.
From here up. No bottoms.
No bottoms. Ain't nothing wrong with no bottoms now.
I love me.
Well,
let's not.
But
keep it cute.
Did you see that Tamron Hall invited Sherry Pie to her show and did a 30-minute interview?
So Juanita, I swear. So I was just like scrolling when it was first announced. I was just like scrolling on my phone, and I saw because on the poster it had all the guests for the week, and I was looking at the guests. I was like, oh, cute. Sherry Pie, what the fuck? Like, why is she here? What does she possibly have to say? Like,
Tamron Hall, what are you doing, baby?
And then I was like, Tamron, why would you? I was like, so now you have it hard enough. Because if you follow the Tamron Hall, like, debacle and what has happened over the past few years, like, she's been going through it behind the show. So I was like, why would you bring this? And I know it's not just solely her decision.
Right.
Like, why would you bring this on yourself? Like and maybe that's what they were looking for. They knew that it would garner all this controversy, all this traffic. The girls were going to watch it just to see what Sherry Pie had to say. So they probably knew that the negative backlash was coming, and they just didn't care because the clicks and the numbers and the money matters more. I don't know. I'm not part of that team. I couldn't tell you.
Joey Googly, Mr. Joey Guglielmi.
I did not watch the interview yet, but I'm going to.
Oh, you gonna have to watch it for research for this special episode we gonna do, because let me tell y'all something. I just have my call out is about this, is a question for you.
Okay. Oh, so let's ask the question. We'll talk about it briefly, and that can be like our segue into our special episode, which will probably be next week since there's no actual episode for Drag Race. Right. So it could be like a cliffhanger moment.
Yeah, and I'm also not interested in doing a pandemic episode. So
no, I'm not doing that. Sorry.
I'm not interested in doing a pandemic episode.
But we want to do an episode, but just so
next week's episode will be about what we said. So
yeah,
my question to you is: should people who have committed acts of harm similarly that Sherry Pie did be provided a platform in media for the masses to consume?
Okay, so here's my thing. We've talked about this before. Not about this specifically, but about people who do harm and have caused harm, right? That does not mean that more harm should be enacted against them. But I think there's a difference with not repeating cycles of harm, even if it's to harmful people. There's a difference between reproducing cycles of harm and giving them worldwide platforms about a situation where they've already had a platform to talk about it. And I think that's my major gripe. Sherry Pie has already had a platform.
And they still do. Like, I just
thank you. They still have a if Sherry Pie got on Instagram Live right now and wanted to talk about this thing, thousands of people would tune in to hear what she had to say. Right? Sherry Pie is not without resources. She is not without a platform.
I typed it. I don't care if y'all hear the clicking, but Sherry Pie NYC still has 54.2 thousand followers on Instagram. Okay.
Right. So now it reads as we are not giving space to hear both sides, is what people say. The narrative now reads as now we are championing someone who has caused a significant amount of harm to a particular community, right?
To make money.
And for capitalist endeavors, right? And that goes against pretty much every politic that I stand for. So I can't get behind it. I can't justify it, and not in earnest.
Yeah, they still have Facebook, they still have Twitter, they still have Instagram, and
a lot of popular people, a lot of visible, a lot of famous people still follow and support them. They are not without a platform. They are not without resources.
Because if we took a moment to just, and people could say that it's like, oops, an accident, or you know what I'm saying? I am certain that there are Drag Race contestants and people.
A lot of our favorites still follow her.
A celebrity that follow Miss Sherry Pie. Mm-hmm. And I might put together a little list. Let me write that down. Bam! I wrote it down.
A few of our faves still follow that person.
You know, and it's just like, and this is not like, you can't do the argument like you do with, I follow Donald Trump so that I get the information firsthand. I want to know the crazy stuff that he's saying for my safety, right? This is not that kind of situation, because like, Sherry Pie is not the
whatever Sherry Pie talking about, you don't need to know. Like the shit Donald Trump talking about, as much as we hate him, is probably something you should be aware of. Ain't none what Sherry Pie got to say you need to be aware of.
It'll trickle down. You don't need to follow them to see it. The algorithm know what's up.
You will get it. It'll be on the blogs. It'll be retweeted. You need to follow them to see what they're talking about. Yeah. So we'll talk more about this. We'll talk about this extensively next week. But no, I do not agree. Like this, it was completely unnecessary for her to have this worldwide platform to give her the opportunity to repeat those cycles of harm that I was talking about earlier, right? It was just completely unnecessary, and I hate the fact that it happened, especially hearing from the victims that were like, we talked to producers directly, and we said, we're uncomfortable with this. And they were like, oh, well. Like, capitalism has no soul, it has no feelings, it only has dollars. Like,
point blank, and the period. And with that, we bid you a good night. Thank you for tuning in yet again to Drag from the Left, a weekly digital series where we review RuPaul's Drag Race and current relevant social issues from a radical leftist perspective. I'm your hostess with the very mostest, Reverend Juanita Bind'Em.
And this is Avery Ware with one Y and one E. I said my first and last name this time. I don't know. It works.
Avery doesn't know their name. And thank you so much for tuning in to Drag from the Left. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.